Hello everybody and happy fall. So I thought I would share with you some of my favorite cozy reads, and this is the first time I've ever done a video like this. Usually I do my favorite kind of autumn reads where they're kind of darker and spookier, and I still plan to do that, but I want to do one this year where it's all about the cozy books. And for me, cozy books are just books that make you feel warm inside, that you can just curl up with in front of a fire maybe, or just curl up with in general, and they're just heartwarming, I guess you could say. That's what cozy books are for me. So I have a list here of cozy books that I want to recommend to you, and I hope that you enjoy them and it gets you into the autumnal spirit. So first up, I'm going to talk about a graphic novel, and I'm sure all of you are already knowing what it is because it is like the epitome of like a fallish cozy read, and that is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I love and adore this book. I read it last year and fell in love with it. It's about these two characters, one named Josiah and Deja, and they work at this pumpkin patch place that's actually like huge. It, forgive me, this is the library copy because mine's on loan. It has like a corn maze in it. It has like a s'mores pit. I love s'mores. It has like a pumpkin drop. It has tractor rides. Like, it is a place where I want to work and live in, basically. And it's just about their last night working there, and them going through this events to find this girl that Josie likes. And it's just adorable. Like, it's not like really in depth or anything like that, but it's going to make you feel cozy. It's going to make you want this pumpkin bomb, which is like a pumpkin ice. It's like pumpkin pie wrapped in ice cream with chocolate. I want one so bad. But it's just freaking adorable, and I love it, and will always recommend it every year for like a cozy-ish, just fallish read. This is the book for you. Next up is The Bake Shop at Pumpkin and Spice, and this is 3 short stories by Donna Kaufman, Kay Angle, and Allison Charles. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I found this in Target last year, and I bought it strictly for the cover because how could you not? Like, this is me in a picture. just an autumn bakery, pretty much. I don't know what that says about me. It says I love fall. I'm going to take it as that. But I actually really enjoyed it, surprisingly, because it was a cover buy. So there are 3 short stories in this that all take place in this town called Moonlight, and they're all romantic, and they're just cute. Like, again, it's not super in depth. I really enjoyed the first story a ton, and the second one was okay, and the third one I did enjoy as well. But it's a quick read. It's cozy. It's definitely got that small town feel, which is definitely, like, it screams a cozy read for me in that regard whenever it's set in a small town, and it's adorable. So this one, again, a cover buy for sure, but if you want something that gives you like autumn vibes and bakery vibes, this is a great one to read for sure. Next up is Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. I read this last year and fell in love with it. Again, it's got that small town vibe where it's kind of set, I would say, in the fallish winter months. Maybe also the spring. It's year-round. But I really feel like this is an autumnal book. So in this book, we follow a character named Evie who is in a marriage that she's just really loathing and she wants to get out of. And the night she's actually about to leave her husband for good, he tragically passes away, and everybody feels very sorry for her. And she thinks she's mourning a lot. In reality, she really is not mourning a ton because it was such a bad marriage. And it's all about that, and she lives in Maine in this small town, and basically she gets a new roommate who is a baseball pitcher, and he has the yips where he can't pitch anymore, and it's about them falling in love, and it's just kind of quaint, and they have Thanksgiving in this book, and they talk about baseball, and it's all fallish, and I loved it. This is a quiet book, and what I mean by that, it's very character driven. There's not a ton of plot. It's just about Evie and the baseball pitcher, I forgot his name, and about them getting to know each other in this very small town, and it's got that, again, small town vibe, you know, like Stars Hollow. I love that. I love that about it, but I thought it was very fallish in that regard. Next up is one I read a few years ago that I didn't really love, but I still have fond memories of, if that makes any sense, and that is The City's Baker Guide to Country Living by Louise Miller. This one is the hardback cover, but I recommend getting the paperback copy because, like, I want to buy it just for the cover. It's all about this chef that loses her job, and then she moves to this very, very small town to Guthrie, Vermont, and she starts working at this inn, and she meets this older lady, and then she gets involved in this like best apple pie contest, and it's very heartwarming. It isn't like one of my favorites, but if you love books about food, especially with baking and things like that, this one is a great one to read because it delivers in that regard. But it is cozy. It makes you want apple pie. Like, I think I read this and it was Pie Day, 3/14, and I was like, I finished this book on 3/14, and then I went to the store that day for some reason, and it was Pie Day. They had pies on for sale, and I was like, I'll never forget that, with that memory with that. But it's cute. I don't think you're gonna get a ton from it, but again, it is really cozy. Next up is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. So Christina Lauren is the author duo that writes romantic books, and I love them all. And a lot of their books I would consider summer reads because they take place in the beach, or they're just really summery. This one is like their epic love story, I always say. It's like a sadder one. It's one that you're gonna fall in love with. It's like this sweeping grand love story about two teenagers that fall in love, and something tragic happens and they break up, and then many years later they meet again, and it's like, are they fated to be together or not? It is just a beautiful story that I think would be great to curl up with a blanket in and get you some tissues to cry, because it will make you cry. And it's one, I don't hear Christina Lauren's books talked, I hear Christina Lauren books talked about a ton, but not this one in particular, and it's like one of my favorites by them, and would highly, highly recommend checking it out. Like, it's one, if you want like a sad love story, but it has a good ending, trust me, this is one to read. Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I don't know if this one takes place in a particular season, but I think I maybe read it in the fall, so that's why I kind of associate it with fall. But it's about this character named Chloe Brown who has fibromyalgia, hopefully I said that correctly, and she wants to like really live her life. So she enlists this help of this guy named Red to help her kind of do her life, like enjoy a drunken night out, ride on a motorcycle, go camping, and do something bad. And it's all about her, you know, doing that list. And of course she falls in love, and it's just really cute and fallish. There's a cat involved, and I just loved it a ton. Again, a super cozy read that you can snuggle up with, light a candle, have a great time, eat some ice cream or pie, whatever you want to do. Next up is The Simple Wad by K.A. Tucker. So this one I think could be for any season. I want to say there's a good part of it that takes place in the fall, I'm pretty sure. But this is about a character named Kala who lives in Canada, and then she learns that her father is dying pretty much, and he lives in Alaska. So she decides to go there for a while to visit him and finally get to know him, because she really hasn't known him at all. Her dad owns this charter pilot company, flying company, plane company, I can't talk, and there works this guy named Jonah who's like this really tough, hard-headed guy, and eventually you can guess it's a hate to love romance. And they travel Alaska. I'm a sucker for Alaska books. I think a lot of us are, and this one delivers on that front, and it's definitely like my favorite K.A. Tucker book I've ever read. Highly recommended. Like, there's a part, and I think where they go to the cabin and they have a fire, and it's really cold outside, so they have to snuggle up, and it's just very fallish. I wanted to recommend some YAs too, even though I already recommended one. Number one is series Moonlight by Jen Bennett. This one, I mean, they're in a freaking cafe. She's wearing a beanie, he's wearing a flannel. The cover screams fall, but it takes place in Seattle at this hotel where this boy and girl meet. They fall in love, and it's not my favorite by her, but goodness me, isn't it cozy? Like, it's the hotel, and they travel Seattle, and it's all warm and snuggly, and I just loved it. And then, of course, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I think a lot of us think of Fangirl when it comes to fall because, you know, it takes place with the character starting college. And when does that start? Kind of in the fall. So it's all about Kath starting college and kind of her journey from there, figuring out who she is. And it definitely has a fallish vibe in a college setting and things like that. And it's a classic YA one, that is for sure. And the last one I want to recommend is The How and Why by Cynthia Hand. This one's a much more serious one. I do think those are cozier ones as well. This one is about a character named Cassandra who has a family. She's adopted, and she's been lately thinking about her biological mother, and she wants to learn more about her. And she finds these letters from her biological mother that her biological mother wrote when Cassandra was in the womb. And she reads them and also goes back in time to her biological mother writing these letters. You see her as she's pregnant and deciding that she is going to give up Cassandra for adoption and things like that. It's a hard-hitting one, but it really talks about the importance of family and whatever family you have, whether it be adoptive, biological, foster, and step family, anything like that. It just really talks about that. And it's a hard-hitting but very beautifully told book. Definitely and highly would recommend it. So there you have it. Those are a whole bunch of books that I consider cozy reads. Books that you can curl up with a blanket. What do you know? I have a blanket right here. Look at that. You can just curl up. Imagine that. I don't know. But I hope you got some great recommendations from this video. I would love to know what you consider cozy reads. Are you a person that considers really big fantasies a cozy read, or literary fiction, or thrillers as a cozy read? I would love to know what you define a cozy read as. And if you liked any of these recommendations, again, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.